How are you? How's everyone? Let's start with the information. What a strange day. This individual we're seeing on screen believed he was Jesus Christ, according to reports. He is the one who was reportedly shooting, according to reports so far, outside the White House. His name is Nasir Best, a 21-year-old man who allegedly opened fire. This happened near a White House checkpoint over there in Washington on the street, right on Pennsylvania Avenue and 17th Street. That's where this risky situation unfolds. Another case where you can see las cosas están bastante extre when someone who thinks he's Jesus Christ tries to carry out an attack, it gets your attention.
From the backside, he says,
Sad thing about this, obviously, I mean, aside from the fact that it's very, very unfortunate and all violence is inexcusable no matter where it comes from, but unfortunately, I mean, it's a young guy. It's a young guy who obviously had mental problems. I'm not saying if he already thinks he's Jesus Christ, well, I think there's definitely some kind of problem there, right? He's only 21 years old. I mean, he's a young guy. Well, just barely.
he's barely old enough.
He's barely old enough to drink in the United States. Basically, no, according to reports. He used a revolver and managed to fire several times before being neutralized. Look, before continuing with his sort of mini biography, I'd like to see the moment when a journalist from the United States reacts to this situation. Let's watch the moment. Look at this. This image was shared with you via Telegram. But let's see if we can start listening to her, because the sound is a little low. Let's see if we can hear what happens. Because she's, well, making the report. She's on the White House grounds. She's in the White House gardens, where the journalists have something like cubicles, and in the background, you can see the gardens. Listen to the gunshots in the background.
Trump has said that the agreement is close only for both sides to remain far apart. We can see it on video.
Well, that's the moment when this situation happens, right? That's the moment when, well, this, what's it called, attack happens in the end. Because at first it wasn't clear if it was something else, if it was another issue, or if it wasn't related to that thing, to the White House. But it's not known for sure. Apparently, this individual was trying to attack the White House. The United States Secret Service, the Secret Service, within seconds, they responded by shooting him right there on the spot. He was injured, was hospitalized, and at the hospital, supposedly, at this point, it is reported that he died from his injuries. And because of the injuries, he died. It is known that there are one or two more people injured. Apparently, it was a civilian who was nearby who was injured in the exchange of gunfire. So far, none of the Secret Service agents have been injured. According to the latest report, the authorities confirmed that the motive for the attack is still unknown. It's not clear, I mean, whether there was any alert that this individual was going to try something. That's not clear. According to the media, you see, this man or this guy was not known to the authorities. He had already tried to violate restrictions in the area by approaching the place. He was already known. He was also known because he supposedly believed he was Jesus Christ and things like that. At least that's what is known. What was being reported at the time. It was also recently reported, well, what happened to Ivanka Trump, Ivanka Tron, which is also another issue among those.
To find one of this person with ties, or rather part of it, right? Hezbollah, which is the Hezbollah cell, but in Iraq that already had a plan to attack the Donald Trump's daughter. He already had the house plans, and well, he was arrested in Turkey, but now he's on his way to the United States to be sentenced. Well, to have the trial, right? And then the sentence.
This person, well, that's also important. So what is known is that it was this guy, this young man, let's say he's already deceased. He died in the hospital. According to reports, he was taken to the university hospital, to the George Washington University Hospital. According to reports, he died from his injuries. This was reported by the Secret Service. The suspect's name is Nasir Bester. He's 21 years old. They already knew him. I don't know. He wasn't a big threat. I mean, they didn't arrest him because he hadn't done anything serious enough, right? But they already knew he caused some problems, right? He was on their radar. But this time, he pulled out a revolver. And now, if there was any warning, if he had posted something on social media, that's the part they're investigating right now. Could this have been prevented or what? We have to remember how it was. The first Trump administration, where there were also incidents. Do you remember that? On one occasion, we talked about it here. They turned off all the lights at the White House. The whole White House was in darkness. It was the first time, supposedly in a long time, that they turned everything off. And it was never exactly clear why.
What happened? It was during the Black Lives Matter protests because, yes, it made them very nervous. There were so many people. In fact, one of the stories that made the biggest impact that year, well, it was very
shocking, of course.
And after that, just a few months later, we would see what happened on January 6th.
And after that, things were already pretty heated. Let's say in that sense, well, hey, let's move on to other matters. Let's go with several huge topics. Hello to Marcia Alexander in Taiwan. Greetings also to Aurelio. Greetings as well to New Mexico, to where Frank Witt is. Greetings to Houston, Texas. Diego, how have you been? Greetings, how have you been? Where are you? I mean, if you want to share it with the whole community. A little scare, says Ander, exactly. Let's say a little scare. No, now...
There are some images. I don't know if you can show them from inside the press area where they have them locked in. And, well, you know, it's very difficult for journalists. No matter how many times they're told to get on the ground, they're still going to do it. If they can capture the image, well, they're recording from inside, showing how some of them are hiding, others are trying to film outside, everything. And you see the police literally protecting. There they are. I think they're shielding the journalists from behind the...
There they are in the back, the same police officers moving from one side to the other, keeping watch to make sure no one tries to get in from another side. You can see it. Well, not always, but let's try to catch it here. This is what's good about what they post on Twitter. Chris Flanagan from television, well, from that city, they're the reporters, right? They keep posting updates there about the same situation, about how it happened just now. There's another post. Check this one out. What? In that one, you can make out a little bit of the police too. And you can also see this movement.
Exactly, I think so too.
And there's also another image. This is the one where there's a journalist behind, which is this one. No.
I think she's the one who recorded the image we saw, the first one we saw.
I think so. I think she has a lens that someday, I'll have a Canon, one of those telephoto lenses.
Yeah.
Police tell them to move away from the glass.
No, of course, whenever I see the gear of those who are at the White House, they have amazing equipment. And I'm like, well, let me borrow that for the band. Their gear is awesome. Hey, there's the police. Honestly, look, that's the situation. But notice the police back there seem pretty calm. They're just talking with someone. I mean, come on. It's not like they're on high alert, because if they were, that would mean things are really serious, right? The situation occurred just outside the White House. Well, this time the person was, well, apprehended. Well, not just apprehended, but basically shot down.
It caught our attention. And I say that because that's what's normal, honestly. The normal thing is that they don't even stop them. That's something that always stands out. Regarding the previous case of this Cole Allen, well, they managed to apprehend him, to stop the whole thing without any injuries.
And he shoots directly at the Secret Service, supposedly. So this has generated a lot of, well, it's estimated that about a quarter of Americans don't believe it's real.
Yes, it's very strange.
I mean, honestly, I don't either. I feel like we would see other suspicious things. But, well, that's the thing. That's a good percentage. They believe that that case wasn't real. Either way, the thing is that the guy is in jail. Well, the professor from California is in jail. And he's probably going to stay there for the rest of his life, right? That's intense. Now, let's move on to other matters, because things are getting really tough in the war between Ukraine and Russia. Let's go over there. Check out what's happening. These images are of those Oresnik-type missiles. You see, those missiles open up in the air and then release their ammunition. Yes, these are the images of the Russian intermediate-range ballistic missile, Oresnik, hitting Kyiv today. Let's listen to that moment.
Shut up! Don't
cry! Shut up! Shut up!
Shut up. Well, that's the reaction of those Ukrainians at that moment when they're watching this situation. You can see that they even play around a bit with the guy.
It catches their attention that there are several of them. They look like little dots, right?
Exactly. And well, we're going to look at several of the videos that are circulating today showing a massive attack. There are some of the other images that have been posted on social media. This is the moment when the system is opening up to launch that submunition. The thing is that, well, as always, it's a topic that gets a lot of criticism, especially because of attacks on civilian areas, obviously. And that's something that also draws attention, that it's happening in the capital, not just anywhere, but right in the capital. Attacks are happening in Kyiv. That's where major explosions have been reported, according to what they've said. What is known so far?
Well, what is known at this moment is that there were strong explosions in Kyiv, in the capital, in the early hours of Sunday, and air raid alerts were also activated across Ukraine. All of Ukraine was on red alert right now because of the attack attributed to Russian ballistic missiles, and the offensive hit, at least, as far as we know so far, 4 locations in the capital, including several residential buildings. And well, according to reports, the families living there obviously had to flee and take shelter in the subway stations, which, by the way, are super, super deep. It's tough to damage, often used as a shelter, and some people even prefer to sleep there nightly. Well, the explosions made the structure in the city center shake and have caused fear among the population, while the authorities have deployed emergency services for rescues and so on. Well, the Ukrainian president, Zelensky, had already warned earlier today, Saturday for us, that there was going to be an imminent attack by the Russians, that it was going to be on a large scale, that they might possibly use the Oreshnik, so they should be prepared. He says, "We are verifying this information. They will use medium-range weapons in the attack. Russian madness knows no limits. So please save your lives. Take shelter."
Well, that's part of the message coming from Ukraine, right? In this case, they're trying to make sure people take shelter seriously because sometimes people get too confident, start recording. You know how it is, right? Yes. How is that?
Well, yes, for example, there's one image that really stands out. I don't know if you can open it, where you can see the missiles falling and people screaming Ukraine from their apartments, right?
That's something to see. Yes,
Pass it to me. Pass it to me. Usk, right? I think they call it Usk, Usk, Usk. Yeah.
Usk, and it says it on the Ukrainian side, this one.
Let's see. Let me.
Let me put it on because yes.
It's the second left.
Obviously, it's interesting. Let's see. You sent me several here, right? Yes. So they're new.
Yes, they're new and from the same attack. One on what's happening.
It's repeating. Let's listen to this moment. This is from the buildings, from the apartments over there in Ukraine. Big shout out to Master Shifu. Greetings, Master. Greetings, Master Shifu. Let's listen to this moment. They're even laughing a little. It's something that's known that they. I mean, I don't know how things are over there, but or how is it that, well, that they find out. But there are reports of Putin being upset when this happens. I mean, he doesn't like it. I mean, people react like that, right? So supposedly, right? Their resilience really bothers him at the end of the day. Well, from his point of view, what he wants is to crush their spirit, not for their spirit to become stronger. And that situation, well, obviously he should know about it because at the end of the day, I mean, in my life, it's the same region. The people are very resilient, just like Russians, who are also very resilient. But, well, the situation is extremely complicated in that sense, at least in terms of attrition, because the war continues. Apparently, they've learned to live with the war.
Exactly. They have learned to live with the war. And well, there we see them. Despite the attacks, they are cheering for their country.
And well, we have this image. What is this about?
This is also part of the attacks that just happened in Kyiv. If you want to fast forward to about the middle.
Yeah. You can see it in the background, right? There are the attacks, right? It's, well, also really shocking. Shall we listen to it? Just a moment. Shall we see? Well, yes, that's intense. Obviously, those are the explosions that have been heard tonight. For them, it's already May 24th, obviously. And, well, we have, I think that's another image. Well, that one, we've already shown this one. We've already shown this one. What else is known about this?
Well, we only have this information about the attacks, and well, over the next few hours, surely we'll have the total number of people who may have been injured. Yes. Because, as we mentioned at the beginning, several of these attacks hit residential areas. I mean, yes, oh look, there are already numbers, one person who may have lost their life and 13 injured right now.
Well, let's see. According to the reports, there was an attack. And this is something that caught attention. A drone attack that apparently hit a Russian drone facility.
Yes.
Yes, and apparently that really upset them. Supposedly during that attack, some university dormitories were also hit. Supposedly, right?
Yes, we already talked about that.
We talked about it, exactly. So supposedly this would be Russia's reaction specifically to that case. Well, supposedly, so let's say that's where things stand, right? That's the back and forth they're in. There's a security alert from the US State Department about that issue because, well, they knew something was coming, right? They knew an attack was coming.
They already knew. Since yes.
So they had warned about it, right? Yes.
Yes, Zelensky already warned about it, and we just discussed this topic from Saturday.
I'm referring to the United States Department of State.
To the department, yes, well, this message was posted today in the United States about the possibility of a major attack for any resident in Ukraine. So they should know they need to take shelter in the early morning, which is when general attacks usually happen.
Exactly. It's the clear security alert that the US State Department posts on social media showing, well, the usual, right? Like the usual, don't travel to this place or whatever. Well, this was a security alert that they've also issued here in Mexico on some occasions, but this time it was for Ukraine, right? It's also pretty serious.
Right now, there's one. Well, actually, the security alert has a 24-hour warning, yes. I mean, these attacks could go on, at least at that intensity, because the reality is that there are attacks every day, but they could last for about 24 hours. So that's what the US government is warning.
Let's move on to other important matters. Well, hey, there are several things, just wanted to mention them. Our email is showing right now. It's literally scrolling along the line down here. There it goes. So just so you know, so you have the email. It's also on the website at penvivopepenvivo.com. It's also in the description and on the website. You can send us a message there. Actually, the cool thing about this is that when you send a message in the chat, it goes straight to my phone, literally. That's cool. Yeah, it's cool. So you tell me, hey, Pepe, I don't know, this is happening. I find out immediately. It even sends me an email as well. But I get the chat message straight to my phone right away. So it's awesome because you can say, hey, Pepe, this is happening, right? And that's it, right? So it's very practical when it comes to sending me a report. For example, right now, Mars sent a greeting and sent me a report about a topic in Taiwan that we're checking out. It's very interesting. Some good news, which is that it has increased. I mean, let's say the unemployment rate is extremely low, right? What can I say? I think that Taiwan, from an economic point of view, well, and from many other points of view, but from the economic point of view, we've talked about it. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, they already made the full report on how they did last year. The growth they've had is surprising. I mean, it's really amazing. The AI boom has also generated a very interesting level of prosperity for them. Hopefully that will be seen throughout the whole country.
It's about how they're going to give a good amount to the people who work at the companies.
Well, this one was talking more about unemployment. I mean, basically that there is no unemployment. Yes.
Also today, it was announced that in Taiwan, people who work, for example, in the places where they assemble chips, I don't know the specific name, well, the chip factories, they're going to receive like a, what do they call it here when you get it? A bonus. But it's a really good bonus. I wish we could get those kinds of bonuses here in the United States. I mean, it's quite a lot. They're there.
That they're really putting in the work.
Yes, of course, because they've had a boom for the same reason with AI companies buying so much. And they were told that as long as that excess buying, that demand continues, right? For chips, they'll get a bonus and it'll be very cheap.
Strong, strong. Hey, what will happen to that little town that got rich? I don't know if it was in the Netherlands or somewhere else because of the... Yeah, no, that's not possible. But since the patent has now been open and now many people are making it, I imagine that town went from being OCP.
Super rich all of a sudden.
But, well, they took advantage and built infrastructure and everything. I mean, that's great. But how an entire town, a little town, can grow and prosper thanks to, let's see, an industry doing well, right? Someone gave me some information about viruses. Okay. For example, when they hit their peak boom and what that meant for the gross domestic product or for production. Or rather, yes, the generation of wealth from abroad was about 30 or 40%. That's an exaggeration. Yes, yes, yes.
Like when you talk about BTS in North Korea, I mean in South Korea. I mean, what they generate is impressive. It's a whole industry.
National security already centers on them, right? It's mind-blowing. Well, or Televisa soap operas in Russia, right? They were sold. I don't know how much they made, but I remember they sold a lot, right?
A lot all over that area of the USSR.
They either pirated or bought the rights. No, they actually bought them. Yes, it must have been a good income source for Televisa. So Chetumal, how have you been? 70 like the Hershey chocolates? He says only one can make them. A single town makes them for the whole world. That's crazy. I didn't know or remember, and I didn't understand. Do you recall? I lost you to a man from the Washington factory? Washington, and a man, a typical American guy, this man. And he started a conversation, and I was happy to talk. I love chatting. And he told me that he worked at the Hershey company, right? And no, he was really proud. I started talking to him like that. And I said, well, you know, I told him, yeah, I talked about Hershey, about the chocolate, that it's the best. And he was telling me about that little town, about all that stuff. Yeah, I said. But well, guys, with just a chocolate, no. I thought it was going to be like Willy Wonka or something like that. That he was going to give me a golden one or something like that. That he was going to give me a golden ticket and all that. Well, greetings to Maria Araujo, Pixel Cats, Chetumal, Walter, and everyone. Let's switch topics. If you're just joining, give it a like, and if not, do it anyway. Let's move on to other interesting topics. There's something there that's causing a lot of tension right now, because in theory, there's an agreement with Iran. First, a memorandum. Memorandum, yes, that's what they call it. A memorandum, that's what they call it, right? Donald Trump sends the agreement, the memorandum, whatever you want to call it, and when he posts it on his own social media, the first thing, and I saw this from people who are very, very pro-Trump, right? And when he posts it, they say, wait, why are you publishing something that hasn't been agreed on? Why are you posting? I mean, only someone in that position would do that, or only someone very weak would publish that. If you're confident of an agreement, you publish nothing until it's finalized. If you need to publish it, it's to pressure the other person because you feel insecure, or you know the agreement probably won't. They criticized him a lot for that. Really, you should let the weaker person brag about it. Say he's working on an agreement and you stay quiet. But if you're in the stronger position, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't announce or reveal it early. So they criticized him a lot for that part. And in a way, it's like he neither wins nor loses. I don't know. It's like they end up kind of at a standstill. If you're supposed to be the strong one, then where is that strength? Or in this particular case, maybe you're not as strong as you thought you were. Maybe he said, look, it's easy. I'll just take Amado here. He went hard and lasted 3 minutes. I mean, maybe it's the same with them too. The thing is, it's not like that. And the point is, what is being negotiated? What is known? And what have the Republicans said? Or what reactions are there?
Well, there are pretty strong reactions here from senior Republican senators.
Says Rocha.
Look, the high-ranking Republican U.S. senators
have
criticized
The memorandum that
was published.
they say that basically they say it's the nightmare for Israel. That's what they say. They say after Iran claimed that nuclear issues are not part of the current conversation, For example, that's the former Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo. Well, he said that what was happening was terrible. I mean, that's what Rocha says. The points that were being reached at this moment, he basically tells me, are meant to terrorize the world. The criticism came from the Republican Party, where a lot of uncertainty has been generated about what is about to be signed, right? On an X account, for example, Lindsey Graham, who is, well, super, he has been by Trump's side for several months now, constantly on the issue of Iran and also on the issue of Ukraine. In fact, he even turned his back on Ukraine to support Trump. And they have commented. This criticism, they, Lindsey Graham, also the Republican Senator Tom Cotton, have expressed that no, it's not a good deal. Senator Roger Wiggles from Mississippi also said that there were rumors of a 60-day ceasefire amid beliefs that Iran would act again. No, that's like saying Iran will act in good faith. I mean, you can't trust someone like that to act in good faith. And they also said that everything achieved by Operation Epic Fury would have been in vain, they said. Neither Graham nor Wiggles mentioned Trump or criticized him directly. They won't put themselves in that position, but they have. Why could the president win the election on social media? Because in the end, it wasn't posted there, right?
Exactly. I mean, so far, everything is on social media. Some points have been leaked. I think there are 9 points that were leaked. But among them, they say the Iranians are going to open the Strait of Hormuz. They're going to open it. And the United States, and we will also open the strait for them. So both sides will open it for each other.
But Iran says...
No, sorry. Sorry, yeah. But no, it's just that I don't want to look at them here because I'll see them waving and it's going to make me laugh even more. Sorry, I was going to say something here. This area is the one controlled by the United States and this is the one by Iran, right? So they say we're going to allow, let the ships pass on this side, right? Meanwhile, the United States lets the Iranian ones leave. But basically, little by little, he says, so what did you gain?
Yes. And besides, there's a point that the Iranians mentioned. Yes, it's going to open up little by little, but it's still going to be ours. So...
What's the point? We end up in the same position. No. It's like solidifying Iran's position in that sense. Also, the issue of uranium that could be in these areas, that could be spread out in several bunkers. Nobody knows. But they also say, let's analyze it. Let's debate it to see how we're going to dilute it. You'd say, what? What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. That's the perfect position, even though they say it's correct. It's a tie. I say, it's the perfect position for the Iranians. In any case, the Iranians, well, that's what they live for, to keep dragging things out and dragging things out. Well, now they're going to drag things out, but with the winning position of Urmu.
Exactly. I'll tell you quickly before returning to what the senator said. Iran rejected, just now, directly rejected Trump's statement that the Strait of Hormuz will be opened as part of a major negotiated measure. Because this is what Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, saying that the Strait of Hormuz will remain under Iranian management, and that what Trump said is far from the truth. And the second point is the issue of the nuclear file. They say it has not been discussed, and that the officials themselves, American officials, have told Iran in multiple messages that Trump's tweets are mainly for domestic US propaganda and media consumption and should be ignored. That is supposedly, according to the Iranians, what the advisors, the negotiators, we're talking about Jared Kushner, Steve Witkow, have told them, don't pay attention to Trump's tweets. It's just to pressure people in the United States so they'll keep quiet. What madness. Yes, and the worst part is sometimes you believe them and think it's possible.
It's just that, at least for the position the Iranians have right now, it's a strong card. Like Trump likes to say, a strong bargaining chip, right? In any case, because taking things to the extreme doesn't benefit anyone. It's not good for Iran. It's not good for the United States to take it that far. The ultimate consequences would be the death of a lot of people, the destruction of much more infrastructure inside Iran, and also a greater risk for the United States internally. It involves too many things. Supposedly, there is a conversation happening right now between Trump and Netanyahu. And that's what the conversation they're about to have is for. Netanyahu spoke with his cabinet and they agreed on how Israel is going to respond to this whole issue. Why? Because it's important. Because Israel has its own agenda, its own ideas about how the conflict should be. And clearly, well, Donald Trump has other ideas behind the scenes. That's what some analyses have been saying. Media outlets say there are leaks and things suggesting that supposedly they are not getting along well, Netanyahu and Trump. There's been some tension in their relationship for a while now. Yes. And this call is kind of the key to knowing if they're going to want to keep operating like this or just not at all. The United States goes one way and the Iranians go another. One of the things that apparently won't be in the agreement is the issue of Hezbollah. And what about the ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah? It doesn't appear to be included, at least not in the 9 published points. It wasn't listed or mentioned there, correct?
Exactly. No, it wasn't in that point, but they have left it out. Yes, the Iranians have mentioned it several times that it's an important part for them. Just like the issue of Iraq. The issue of Iraq is also important for them, that their cells there are not attacked. Well, we'll see how the call went. What we do know is that this call really upset Netanyahu. Something was said there that he didn't agree with.
I mean, there was already a call.
Yes, it seems like if we look right now to see if...
Because that's the decisive moment for this conflict. I mean, this call could be the turning point, let's say right? All the conflicts. Let's dive into the details and review other global events. Diego, how are you? Thank you, Goro Goro Texter, for the correction of negocia or negocia, right? Greetings to you, Pixel Cats. How have you been? 47 Raptor 475 wishing you great health. Now let's move on to other important matters. All right, well, we're looking at this image. Let me see if I can put it up here on the screen. No, that's not it. Let's see. We have it here. There it is. We're looking at these images in which, well, it's the Southern Command, right? From the United States, there was also a very strange movement, right? Near the consulate, or right there at the United States consulate facilities, where they landed with those huge helicopters with troops, supposedly as part of an exercise. That's what the Venezuelan government reported. But what people believe is that it was more of a show of force than an exercise. Does the United States really need to move around with soldiers and 2 planes? This issue clearly caught the attention of the top leader. The Southern Command arrived in the capital of Venezuela for a series of high-level meetings. They were saying that's fine, but arriving so spectacularly really caught everyone's attention, right? I know that, well, they could have easily arrived through the port of Maqui, I think it was, and they could have just gone by car and gotten there perfectly, but no, they didn't have to arrive like that. Super spectacular. Use mega helicopters to deploy many troops.
Exactly. It's about marking territory, right? That's basically what I think it is. If they asked for permission, it was granted about 2 days ago for this move.
That move.
Which is preparation in case they need to leave in an emergency. And well, yes, very spectacular.
Very spectacular. And to show that they're there, to show that they're operating, right? I don't know. Another thing that also draws attention is that they've called Ruben Rocha Moya to testify. Well, not yet, because he's still a governor on leave. Mexico's Attorney General's office summoned Ruben Rocha Moya and other Mexican citizens to testify, accused of collaborating with organized crime, right? Or being part of it, correct? That's what they're accused of. As far as we know, they also summoned Maru Cambus, the governor of Chihuahua. The former state prosecutor, Cesar Jauregui, was summoned for the narco lab case and also because of the presence of U.S. agents. So these are some of the things that are happening right now, right? That caught our attention today. What else do we have over there?
Serbia, I'm being told seriously, there are protests in Serbia. Do you remember that giant president they have?
Yes.
This Aleksandar Vučić, well, they don't want him anymore. It's been a while since they stopped wanting him.
Yes.
Well, it's leaders, not the country. The government is pretty disorganized, as they say. I think that's the right phrase. It's like between Russia and Europe, depending on what suits this president. And, well, thousands of people gathered today, Saturday, at Slaviša Square in Belgrade in one of the largest demonstrations seen so far. where, well, Serbia is demanding early elections and the end of Alexander Vucic's government. And the mobilization was led by students, by citizens from many different walks of life, people who do different things and come from various parts of the country. It began, I think it's important to remember that these protests have been going on since that incident where part of a roof collapsed at a train station, taking the lives of several people. 16 people, and from there the protest started. There was a pause. In fact, during one of the protests, they used this sonic weapon, and here we're sharing the image with you. It's really impressive, honestly, and that's what's suspected. Oh. And obviously, because I think even someone from the government later thanked Russia for that kind of weapon, right? For having helped them, let's say, stop or deter the protesters, even on the same day, right? Each comes out and says no, that it's good that they're protesting, that freedom of expression is important. I mean, it's a really strange thing because well, yes, that everything went well. I don't know what, well, today it is estimated, according to the police, that about 34,000 people gathered there. But you know that their numbers are always different from those of the people leading the protest. The protesters estimate 100,000. So there's quite a big difference.
Bober. Let's move on to other matters, the other important topics as well. Look at what's happening here. Let's see. What we're seeing here is a weather balloon, right? It's a weather balloon, right? According to the reports. Look how interesting this is. Let's go to the map first before we see it. The idea the Ukrainians had about weapons is just crazy, isn't it? That's war for you, right? It's not really war. It's necessity that makes you extremely creative. And look, in this one, let's look at the map. There's something that someone realized, someone who was thinking how to launch cheap and constant attacks against Russia, right? So they said there's a characteristic inside Ukraine, that in Ukraine, right? The winds all year long blow toward Russia. Wow, that's crazy. Yes, the winds all year are blowing toward Russia. So let's say that nature favors them in that sense. So the winds are always going that way, right? The tendency is that all year, or at least most of the year, the winds blow that way. So they came up with the idea to use these balloons, right? These balloons that we saw here, let me see if I can put it on the screen again. And on those balloons, as you can see, there's like a little cross. Well, it's not a cross. It's a little cross shape. It's a drone. They're Hornet drones. They're tiny drones that don't go very far. I mean, they don't have much range. Yeah. But what happens? If a balloon carries the drones, the wind and the air make them fly, and they move forward. They keep moving forward. At a certain point, when told to release the drone, they let it go, and they can then guide it for several kilometers around the area. So super, super small, and cheap drones pass by silently without anyone being able to detect them. Other than spotting them by chance with your eyes, right? Look how high they're flying. So basically, they're up there, let's say at a plane's altitude. They're flying, going at about 40 kilometers per hour or so. So they're moving along in silence with no one around. There's no way to detect it, right? They just release it at a certain point, send the signal for it to be released, and the drone goes off. And then the operators guide them to the point where they want to attack. Let's see more or less how this works. But there it is, look. That's what it's called. That's the little drone. There, it already threw it, see? The drone comes out, there it comes out. From those structures, from those bunkers. The balloons come out, and the balloon carries the drone with an explosive. There it goes. At 42 kilometers per hour, it says there. And it's moving forward until at some point it says, well, it's going to be launched there, right? It's really interesting. It says the following. The weather balloon travels 26 miles into Russian airspace, reaching an altitude of about 5 miles, which is around 8 kilometers. So that's the altitude it's flying at. Then it releases an American Hornet kamikaze drone. By the way, with 95% of its battery left, so it's already in position and still has 95% battery. With this, it achieves an extended strike range of about 150 kilometers when the Hornet alone wouldn't have that capability. It doesn't have a radar signature. There's no engine noise, just the wind simply moving forward toward it.
Very difficult to detect.
Very complicated. But is that it? They can easily adapt it for other conflicts, right? I mean, in other situations, well, it reminded me of the North Korean balloons.
Exactly, the Popoglo.
Exactly. The very famous Popolos also, well, classics, right, in this world. Also, well, this image is shown, right? Let's see if we can put it on the screen because it's the moment when it splashes down, right? It's the Starship rocket from SpaceX. Well, that was the plan, right? The plan was for it to reach this point, and supposedly, well, the thing is that it already successfully accomplished the objective they had. It turned to Mary, and precisely hit the target they wanted. And after that, well, it just collapses. Imagine that, just that. And the moment it collapses, well, there it is.
The idea is to reduce exclusion.
Yes, no, of course it gets reduced, but it still doesn't have it. They still can't handle that rocket, not yet. Not until then. In fact, at the end, look, see how everyone is? Let's see if we can observe it over there. And there they are, all applauding, or maybe he told them to applaud. Like that's how it was, right? Like that. So they would believe that's how it was.
That's how it was.
That's the plan, right? No, it was already announced this would happen.
How do I increase the work area from 20 hours to 24 hours a day?
Really fast. Really fast. Well, that's how things are in these matters. What else do we have?
Let's get to breaking news.
Let's go.
Yeah.
No, Iran has just supposedly agreed to give up its stockpile of highly enriched uranium as part of this agreement with the United States to end the war. This is reported by the New York Times, citing US officials. Iran right now just to remind you, it has more than 400 kilos of highly enriched uranium, which would be enough for 11 nuclear bombs. If it gets enriched even more, it's about 30% short of being useful for nuclear bombs. And also, according to reports, the points that are currently being discussed is the formal end of the war. On all fronts, including Lebanon, the Strait of Hormuz will fully reopen. Iran won't charge transit fees, and the United States won't pay anything. I'm not sure if this is an exaggeration. Partial relief of sanctions for Iranian oil, 60 days to negotiate the nuclear issue, and relief of sanctions for both sides are linked to more sanction relief in exchange for more nuclear concessions. Iran declares that it will not develop nuclear weapons. Both sides acknowledge understanding each other's demands on the nuclear issue.
Well, that's not how the Iranians responded. Don't believe anything.
Maybe because of the World Cup, I think both sides are going to try to sort of make peace. But no, I honestly don't think this will last long.
But on the other hand, I see, for example, right now, Ted Cruz came out and said that and I see the agreement that that it's awful, that it's terrible. So doesn't it seem like this is the one that supposedly the Israeli media are saying is the one that was reached?
Yes, I've already seen it. Well, between what the congressmen have said and what they've said, no. I mean, they're disagreeing with the agreement or with the memorandum. Well, yes, it's a complicated issue. Let's move on to another topic, to other important matters as well. Notice that the tension between Bolivia and the police continues. Protesters clashed again to clear the roads. The security forces have been trying to disperse the protests, which have turned into more of a rebellion than just protests. Force, which has been, let's say, incited by Evo Morales, and that, well, so according to what they say, this could turn into a coup d'etat if it keeps going this way. I don't know what our Bolivian friends think, what their opinion is about this. Yes, this situation seems a bit extreme to me. But, well, yes, that's the problem. They're asking for the roads to be opened. There are already protesters, but they're against the demonstrations. Also, because there's a lack of food, a lack of, well, medicine, fuel, because, well, the roads are closed and obviously nothing can get through at all. Well, more images from around the world are coming out, and also but more images of those attacks over there in Kyiv are coming up. It's getting, well, intense. Obviously, we'll be paying attention to whatever comes up in this conflict. Now, let's move on to other interesting topics as well. Great. So let's go to the comments. Just to mention an important point, if you're just joining or watching this later, give it a like, share it, and leave us your comment and a huge shout out. And thank you to all the channel members for supporting us. Thank you so much for that, and to the whole community. Thanks so much to all subscribers. Let's check the comments. How's it been for you?
How are you? Fernando Espejel says, and how many times is it, Taco? We'll see, right?
Good point.
Good point. Right now, I don't believe any of it because the media say one thing, and then 5 or 10 minutes later, the Iranians come out and say, no, that's not true. We never said that. And well, yes. Greetings to Rublox. How are you? To Walter. Also to Chema Chetumal. He says, no wonder they got scared when they closed the airspace at the crossing, when they detected the balloon in their airspace. Images, greetings, greetings.
Yes. Archive footage. The ones with the applause, of course. Surely the applause for what? For the ship landing. The SpaceX ones. Yes. Didn't you see the applause at the end? Yes, yes.
Yes. Greetings to Juan Luis Guevara, who says, thank you, brothers, for sharing the news. Greetings, since I didn't hear them.
No, I didn't hear, but you saw the image, right? Yes.
They're applauding. Yeah, I thought that was a bit too much. But anyway, Rublox, how have you been? Fernando Espejo Catalan, how have you been? Who's here? Who else is around?
Greetings to Alicia Zendeño and also to Miguel Angel, who says if the war breaks out, the United States, Iran, and Israel would crush the world economically. Even though the country that was attacked at first was Iran, Trump has to figure out what he's going to do with what he started.
Well, yes. So this one says, thank you. Very good. Juan Luis Guevara, greetings. Thanks for the comment. Chetumal says, I don't know what you mean. Is there any point in shooting? What's the point of shooting? Near the White House is a less effective way to do it. Greetings, Chetumal. I mean, he had issues. He clearly had mental problems. But yeah, this... Well, greetings. He clearly had mental issues, but yeah. I mean, like, who would think of that, right? Yeah, who knows?
I mean, if someone tells you they think they're Napoleon Jesus or Marie Antoinette, usually they're not, okay? Usually.
Or Marie Antoinette. Always the cliches. He says, greetings, Marcia, Alexandra. He says if Putin were like Batman, his car would be the Putin Mobile. Hey, what about your mom? What? And your mom? Hey, your mom, calm down. No, I didn't get it. Now I get it. Yeah, I told you, right? No, I mean, it says if Putin were like Batman, he'd have the Putin Mobile.
The Putin Mobile?
Yes. And if it were, hey, what about mom? No.
Greetings to Pixel Cat. Pixel Cat, how are you? Pepe says that our Virginia doesn't get dirty. Greetings, Pixel. Greetings to Virginia Gill, who says, Trump, you have to change the negotiators. I think they're two-faced.
Yes, it could be. The negotiators technically lack the credentials even from the beginning. To begin with Pakistan there, I don't know. I just don't see that country as very neutral, so to speak. But anyway, and always, it's like Pakistan has always been strongly defended by the US military. I imagine it's because it's very convenient to have a good relationship with the Pakistanis because of the areas where they are and because they have nuclear weapons. It's not a good idea to have them as enemies either, right? So I guess that's it. Hello, how have you been, Christy? Christy, big greetings. Hello there. Remember that there's a community section on the channel, and remember that it's in the community section on the page, which we've reactivated. We had it down for a while. We weren't sure whether to keep it or not. But yeah, the community thing is cool. And also, anyway, for anything or announcements or anything we want to post, well, we can do that there. Just fine. He says, where are you? Miguel says, if the war breaks out, the United States, Iran, and Israel will affect the world economically. Yeah, that's true. Even if the country is being attacked, yes, you actually read it. Greetings, Miguel. How have you been? Hello there.
Alexander says, I'm thinking about starting a channel and I'm going to call it Free Insults. More shout outs.
Greetings, ma. Hello.
Greetings to Carlos Martinez, who says he arrived late but made it. Carlos, go back and watch the whole thing. Greetings to Chetuma.
He says Pakistan neutral? No, well, no. That's right. And he says, I've seen horrible things about Pakistan. He says even girls married to men. Yes, some terrible things from Andy. That's correct. You know, they do have, from what I've been able to see. I really like watching these travel channels. I mean, not everything is negative, because there are also, I mean, I've seen several who travel all over the Arab world. And what they've liked about Pakistan, according to them, is that when they go to Pakistan, the people are very cheerful. I mean, it's much more relaxed than when you go to other countries in the Arab world, which are a bit more tense. And you can feel a certain tension. Maybe that too, but the point is that you feel a certain tension. They're just more distant overall. But Pakistan, he says, is much. You realize that it's very easy to talk to people. It's just like that. It's really simple in that sense, right? It's cool, that side of it, let's say. And I mean, also because sometimes it's not, well, it's hard to generalize too, right? But at least that's the impression I've gotten from some of these travelers. There will be a chance maybe to travel to one of their places. I'll tell you my version, he says. F-76 says, cheers Pepe, and so on. He says, and was the SpaceX thing a new version of Starships? And the version that, yes, exactly. Yes. We talked about it. The V3B3, the first successful move of the B3. Exactly. That's right. It's going to be very important for longer trips, right? Good point. It's basically a flying building. It's massive. He says, what else? He says, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't lose anything over there. He says, what? How have you been? Hi, Roble.
Greetings to Aurelio Garcia, to Marcia Alexander, to Maria Martos, as you say, good evening. Greetings to Frank Huitzi, greetings from Houston. Greetings, Frank. Greetings to Dieguito. He says, what's up with the weather and the war involving the United States? Greetings, Dieguito.
Greetings from Dieguito. Look, it's Saturday. Quick recommendations for series, movies, anything you might have. They say that. I haven't been able to watch it. I don't know if I'm going to watch it. Honestly, The Mandalorian, which is in theaters, supposedly didn't do very well.
Just what a lot of people say. Well, those who have gone to see it, right? Yeah, that the problem is they say it just feels like another episode of the series. I mean,
not like a movie.
Not like a movie. And the thing is, the problem here is that the director says it has to appeal to everyone. I mean, we're talking about everyone from kids to adults. When they do that, they end up making really bland decisions, right? Like, I don't know, it just doesn't excite you. It doesn't feel the same. It's not exciting. Define your audience and then that's it.
Yeah, we were remembering, I don't know if you guys saw it, but probably many of you did a movie that I think is called Epidemic or something like that.
Epidemic. They just put it on Netflix right now. It's a movie from the 90s. If I'm not mistaken, it stars Dustin Hoffman, and I think Kevin Spacey is in it too. I think so, but I'm not 100% sure. And also this actor, oh gosh, I can't remember his name, an African American. Also really good. I'll tell you his name in a moment. It's about an epidemic that starts, I think it was like Ebola. I don't remember if they actually say Ebola exactly, but I remember that at the time, people said it's Ebola because it had just appeared, right? I think it had just appeared. It came up in the 90s. And this actor's name is, yes, who is it? I don't know. Cuba Gooding Jr.
It's Gooding Jr.
Rene Russo is also in it. What happened to him?
Is he alive yet?
I haven't seen him in a while, and Morgan Freeman is in it too.
Russo was.
So, yeah, Spacey, Donald Sutherland. Of course, Donald Sutherland. You should watch it. It's really good.
Should watch it. Let's see if we can watch it right.
Yes, it's from 95. Really? Yes, no, I wasn't just saying it. I remember that was the first time I saw the suit they use in those top-level labs where they have the most dangerous diseases.
Yes.
They have the oxygen connected here and all that stuff. The movie is really good.
Of course. It's action and suspense. Rene Russo, Kevin Spacey, Morgan Freeman, and Cuba Gooding Jr. are in it. What happened to Cuba Gooding Jr.? Let me check.
I'm worried. What's going on with him?
You know what? He had a mega boom, remember? A huge one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Even the Oscar, right? He got one of those. Even the Oscar, because there are a lot of people who win an Oscar. And once they win an Oscar, that's it. It's over. They struggle a lot to come back, just like that guy from The Pianist. He struggled a lot. Really a lot.
Are you sure he's still alive?
Cuba Gooding Jr.? Yes, he's alive.
It's just that,
I would have heard if he had died.
it says here his last movie was in 2002, right? Could that be? No, right? 2003 for this one. It's not in order. Okay. No.
But for example, the guy from The Pianist, what's his name? I forgot. Yeah, he struggled a lot. After winning the Oscar, he did a lot of really mediocre movies, so kind of mediocre power. And he himself, actually, the last time he won the Oscar for The Brutalist, he said how hard it is to believe that you'll come back. I mean, it's a really complicated position because if I already did it once, why can't I come back? No.
He has issues. I mean, abuse and harassment. Oh, wow. He was accused of, it says he faces accusations of abuse and harassment. It says by dozens of women between 2018 and 2022. Currently, the actor continues to work on international projects.
Where is the money?
He says, yes, that he has continued working. I mean, but let's see. It's just that he says, first he says he stepped away from the spotlight after facing multiple accusations. Okay, he stepped away between 2018 and 2022. That's why we didn't see him during that whole period. He's just now coming back, let's say, right? He says he arrived
To an agreement. He reached an agreement.
He had a criminal case He was arrested after complaints in clubs. I mean, he used to go to clubs and acted like a troublemaker. So, well, that's apparently what happened. It says he faced several civil lawsuits for incidents ranging from inappropriate touching to accusations of rape. Just imagine. Some of which were settled out of court, according to the Los Angeles Times. Look at what you find out these days. I honestly had no idea about this and hadn't heard any of it. Apparently, he seems to be trying to come back. Wow, I didn't even remember. You had to communicate at some point, right?
Do you remember the one where he was a diver?
Of course. Yes, that's how I brought.
Who else was in it? De Niro again or someone like that? Yes.
Yes, someone like that.
Yeah, I think someone like that was in it. He says...
He says epidemic, then outbreak.
Outbreak, exactly. Outbreak. Yes, yes, yes.
He says Tree 3 holds. It's a season, but it's good. Tree 3 holds, if you haven't heard it. I don't know. I don't recommend Marcia Alexander.
Do you know which one it would be?
Well, no.
Not like, well, yes, but with just one E.
Hey, let's see. Spell it for me.
A-D.
D.
Huh? That one?
Wait. D.
Yes.
Okay, here's the last E.
That one?
Yes.
Now hold. H-O-L-D, hold.
Separate.
Ah.
Yes.
There it is. Look, the first option.
Holds. No, but listed as a series since it's borderline.
You don't realize it. You tell stories.
For 3 holds, put it under series. The option is the series, right?
Yes.
Series?
There it is. It's a TV series.
Okay.
I don't remember.
I don't...
He says, no. I hadn't recommended that.
It says, don't worry, we've got a plan, right? I don't remember this.
No.
I don't remember. It says, let's see. It says it was produced around here by the CBS network.
Who knows?
Who knows?
The actor from Game of Thrones.
So that movie was actually, that's from before, right?
Yes. It's from before, yes.
It's crazy. Yeah. And it says a series produced by the CBS network and first aired in the United States in 2005. The story revolves around the creation of a government team led by the actress Molly Coffrey to counter a potential alien invasion. The series was canceled in November 2005 by Alienígena. Nothing. Alien. It's just no. Forbidden, no. Oh, but we're not going to be left hanging with this series, right?
The bad thing is when I mean, yeah, they didn't finish them. We went through a process with the Borgias. Yes, with the Borgias, they were really good. And then no, we decided not to continue, not to go on.
No, they're not going to continue.
Right? No, honestly, I really hate when they do that. No, they don't recommend us like that.
Please.
Because yes, we did pass it.
Or maybe it's a miniseries, right? No, it's not a miniseries.
No, because it says they canceled it. They canceled it.
Yeah, no, man.
It says, I want a bear hug. Greetings to Roble. How are you, Roble?
Hello there.
Carlos says, if Iran goes nuclear, it will control all the oil in the area and Europe would be dead, says Carlos.
Hello, Carlos. How are you? He says the first episode will give you goosebumps. He says, really, Mars? Okay, let's see if I get it. No, unless I go bother her since she's not here. I was going to... No. They didn't believe in her. Yes, what a shame. Maybe she was saying things that were very, very real, right? Francisco Arce, how have you been? A huge hello to everyone in the community who's just joining us. Let's get started.
Hey, the one I do recommend from Ann Alice, which is also really good, is the Spielberg one, the series. Do you remember? Yes.
The one called Taken.
Taken is really good. That one is complete. I think there are 3 seasons, right? Because there are 3. It follows someone's life.
Yes.
And we see it over 3 seasons.
It's really good. It's really good.
Very good. And remember, if someone is good at the whole aliens thing.
Spielberg. It's Spielberg. And also very classic in terms of cinematography and music. I mean, it's really cool, honestly. And also, it's good to see what connections it has.
With the one that's coming out.
With the one that's coming out. I already saw an interview with him. And, well, yeah, I mean, basically, he's way, way more open about the topic, right? I mean, yeah.
It's just that we're not going to get it.
Who knows? We have to look for it.
Yeah. No, I don't know where the thing is. Carlos Martinez, Master Shifu. Hello, cheers. Leonardo Roble here. Thanks to the whole community for watching. We're leaving a bit early today so we can make it to the movie. Besides, the reports were already complete. Hugs. Take care. Have a great weekend, Leonardo, to the whole community. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Let's go.
See you later.
We interrupt your regular programming. Well, thank you for tuning in to The Truth. Pepe. This is Pepe. Live! The truth is intense, pure. The extraordinary is real, pure. we analyze it. Global perspective, don't miss out. Tune into the channel. Pepe Live, controlling the signal. Pepe and Astrid telling it like it is. Raw journalism. Here, there's respect. Enable alerts, don't lose track. Until next time. Yes, sir. We're taking attendance. Suscríbete.